Well, it's no secret those who have led in the military become some of the best leaders in the business world. And one author has put all of those lessons into a book. Lee Pepper is joining me now to tell us a little bit more. So welcome to the show.
Good morning, Janelle. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, absolutely. So can you tell us a little bit, more about the book?
Yes, I served in the military. When I was a sophomore in college, I enlisted, and I went to officer candidate school and eventually commissioned as an armor officer. And I applied a lot of the strategies that I learned in the Army to my corporate career. And so I really wanted to share these ideas, in a book. And that's why I spent the last 18 months writing it and going through the whole publishing process.
Yeah, well, what are some of those ideas? What are those, military strategies that you can then parlay into the business world?
I think most of the time we're getting stuck today in tactics. We're jumping around from tactic to tactic because the platforms are so easy for us to use.
Okay.
Think about TikTok and Instagram. And where we seem to fail is that we don't have the overarching strategy. And so that's where I try to document in the book, especially for young leaders and young marketers, how they can apply some of these centuries-old strategies and put them to use in today's modern marketing battlefield.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the battlefield. We all know General Schwarzkopf from the Gulf War, and you say some of his strategies and some of the things that he used can be used in business. What specifically?
One of my favorite strategies that he used was the anvil and hammer, and a lot of times in business, we're always trying to figure out what our lowest cost per acquisition is. And so that's we always just want to pay for the hammer. But in the Gulf War, Norman Schwarzkopf lined up most of our troops along the Kuwaiti-Saudi border. That was the anvil. It was there to hold Saddam Hussein's forces. And then he unleashed the 7th Corps and the 101st Airborne with a famous left hook that came in and won. And that's a critical piece to corporate marketing, in that the hammer can't win without the anvil.
Oh, interesting. When did you first realize that some of what you learned in the military can be put into the business world?
It was when I first started my career I worked for Ross Pro for many years. And when I was working for Pro Systems, I had this thought back to my days in armor school where we learned about Karl von Clausewitz and his whole theory on force multiplication. And so I was able to translate his numerical strategy into actual marketing work that I was doing at Perot, and it really paid off. Was
that the first strategy that you put into place there?
That was the first one that I was able to translate into marketing, and then it kind of just put me on this path of like, wow, there are a lot of these military strategies that we learned that can be applicable in the corporate world.
Okay, so is this book more about leadership? Is it more about marketing? Can anyone find some tidbits in this book?
Yes, there are. I think there's a number of different people that would be interested in this book. One, the marketing, but really it's the leadership and innovation. And a lot of times people, when they call me for coaching, they'll say, why is my team not innovative? And I'll always say, you can't command innovation. What you can do is create commander's intent, which is one of the strategies that I outline in the book. And that's where I think a lot of us that are older, like myself, struggle sometimes in dealing with millennials. Millennials don't want to be told what to do, but if you'll set your commander's intent, they will do amazing things for you.
Okay, so they don't want to be told exactly how to do it. They want to be able to figure it out for themselves. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, and that's where the military, really a lot of times we get stuck in this very hierarchical, and it is because we have amazing training and we're very disciplined. But when you're in the heat of the battle, you have to have the ability to move. And that's where sometimes in corporate world we forget that we've hired these amazing young people in our millennials, but sometimes we stifle their creativity. And in the battlefield, you're not stifled. You have to move. You have to make decisions.
Yeah, for survival.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, so you have a TED Talk coming up. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I'm so excited that I was chosen to speak at TEDx Ocala, November 8th. It'll be at the University of Central Florida. And so what's fascinating is the topic this year, the inspiration is pivot. And that really fits in well with my book, I think. And maybe that's one of the reasons I was selected.
Yeah, okay, real quick before I let you go, besides this book that we have right here, what book is on your nightstand?
I love answering this question. I read regularly Caesar's commentaries on the Gallic War. So a lot of times people, when I'm speaking, they're always wanting to know, like, what's the latest and greatest, but I'm always looking back in some of these ancient histories that we may have forgotten about.
So interesting. Well, your book sounds very interesting, and where can we get it?
It's out now. It's available on Amazon, of course, and Barnes & Noble, and it'll be in bookstores on September 2nd.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing it with us.
Thank you so much, Janelle.
Absolutely. And if you want to learn more about his book, you can head to neveroutmatchedbook.com.